Hey guys, hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Laser, and today we're gonna talk a little bit about the Crusader because I kinda got bored of my barbs, didn't I? No, actually I made another one, a Charge Barbarian, really cool, but you know, you can only play so much of a class until you get bored. So I decided to make a Crusader, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna play shotgun build because that looks fun. I tried it, to be honest it was a tad disappointing, and then I built Condemn Crusader because that also looked fun, and I died really quick. So this is my second one, also with a Condemn build. Now with the Condemn build you are gonna want a full Akan 6 set bonus, of course. Mind not defeat. Okay, you want to get illusionary boots because these will allow you to pass unhindered through enemies, and you will see why we need this. Other than that, there's nothing really special about the build at all. The weapon, you can either have the furnace or you can have the Blade of Prophecy, depending on which of them you get to drop for you with a better roll. Better damage, cooldown on all skill is a must. And speaking of which, one of the essential parts to this build, the must-have, if you will, is at least 56% cooldown reduction. Why is that? So you can keep Akarat's Champion up at all times. So we have Akarat's Champion with Prophet, we have Provoke with, Too Scared to Run, Condemn with Vacuum. You don't need to have it with Vacuum, there are variations, speed variations on this build, which I will talk about later, and we have Laws of Justice with Immovable Object. As for our main generator, which we don't really need, we have Slash, of course, and we have the Amplified Armor Rune as well. And for right click, I keep it just for like safety reasons, mostly okay on my right click so I can access it super quickly. We have Iron Skin with the increased duration to 7 seconds. Now as for the things in the thing, we got this, of course, Blade of Prophecy. Again, you can have either the Furnace or Blade of Prophecy, interchange these two depending on which you get a better roll. We get Leoric's Crown because again we need that cooldown reduction, and in our helmet we did socket the maximum amount of cooldown reduction. And we have Unity because we put one of them rings on our Crusader as well. You do need this damage mitigation. Now my first Crusader taught me a very valuable lesson. This build is extremely squishy. Although people in hardcore, just like myself, have pulled out amazing results with it, it's not something necessarily that I would recommend for hardcore. But anyway, enough talk about the build. We're gonna discuss a bit more details later. Let's do, what should we do? Let's do tier 14. Okay, tier 14 farming rift. Now you can keep up Akarat's Champion, like I said, Akarat's Champion all the time up with 56%, and for that I made a handy dandy little macro so I don't have to press it all the time because that's stupid. Alright, and now we're going to go. We're just gonna spam Vacuum like there's no tomorrow. There's no reason really for you not to spam. You're gonna get plenty of energy for it. And when you run out, you can just pop Provoke, and of course that will give you more energy. The wave clear on this one is amazing, the damage is absolutely amazing. Survivability, not as much, even though this is the safest version to the Condemn build I could find. Again, after losing my initial Crusader so fast, I honestly was scared to try to go at it too ham. Alright, let's get in here. Of course the Condemns are gonna pull everybody in and they're gonna get deleted. Get out of here, like so. You have two survivability cooldowns. Speaking of squishiness, first of all, on our right click, as you saw there, we have our Iron Skin with the increased duration once again, and we also have Laws of Justice with Immovable Object, which will increase our resistance to all significantly. So if you're going like into a fight and you see there's like 2 elite packs or something like that, that deal fire damage, poison damage, whatever ability damage, you know, you want to pop that to make sure you're gonna survive. Provoke, get more resources, and just keep on spamming. There's really no reason not to. If you want to set up a macro for this one just like I did and just forget about it, then absolutely, why not? If Blizzard comes in with cheap game mechanics that lets you just spam the ability constantly, then why not do it? Alright, we're gonna pick these up and keep on moving. Again, this is a squishy build. It can catch you off guard, especially if you are using the speed version of this build, which I was using initially. Why? Well, because it looked like a whole lot of fun. And it is a whole lot of fun, right until the point where I forgot to activate Akarat's Champion and died. With Akarat's Champion up, of course, because of the rune, we socketed Prophet. We get... we get 150% extra armor, and I will show you that even fully buffed like this, we don't have a lot of defense. Well, I think my toughness is around, yeah, 122 million, so that's not much at all. See, I'm not using Laws of Justice pop any too often, simply because I don't see all that much ability damage. Again, it's resistance to all, I don't really need it right now. And the clear time can definitely be good depending on the rift, of course. Make your peace quickly. Where are we going? We're going this way. Definitely a fun build. I would recommend it for normal mode though. It simply can go wrong so very fast, and you're gonna be tempted to try the speed variation. I know you will. And when that happens, you're gonna hate yourself if you die so quickly, simply because you forgot to spam one ability or some crap like that. Stay here, Gobbler, goddammit. There we go, Gobbler. Of course, because of the 56% reduced cooldown, we also can spam Iron Skin a whole lot more often. Like you see, Accurate is up all the time with no issue. So again, make a macro. If you got a programmable something, anything, just make a macro to keep it spammed automatically and forget about it. No point to worry. You don't want to fight these guys too much. You want to keep your 5 stacks of Zeal on, okay, for the additional armor, mostly. But that's about it. You don't want to face tank them. There's no real need for that. And again, you are not really all that tanky. As you see, sometimes my health drops really quickly, and that's normal. My gear, it's not really the best kind of gear. I think I got 1 or 2 ancients in it, and it's not the best rolls in it. But you don't need that for the Torment 13. You really don't, as you can see. So it's a good starter build. It shouldn't take you too long to get the gear you need, but you do need like those specific rolls. It needs to have cooldown reduction on bloody everything. So you can get cooldown reduction on your rings, you can get cooldown reduction on your shoulder piece, you can get cooldown reduction on your gloves as well. And you initially, while you're starting to collect gear, you're gonna have to sacrifice all of those items with cooldown reduction. Later on, when you get better items, you're not gonna have to get cooldown reduction in every single slot. You're gonna be able to sacrifice one for something better, like, I don't know, critical hit damage, something along those lines. But if you just want to farm T13, as you see, this is more than enough. And I will highlight the speed build, the speed variation for this build, which can clear a whole lot faster simply because it has a horse. What are we gonna do? We're gonna drop Provoke, if you're comfortable with it, of course, and just pick up the horse with endurance at 7 seconds. And if that's not enough speed for you, drop the vacuum part of your Condemn and just pick up the instant unleash of power, okay? Nope, not gonna die, sorry. Not today. Alright, and that's pretty much it. It wasn't a particularly fast clear. Again, this is more of the super safe version of the Condemn build. I can't think of a more safer version than this that will actually work, because at the end of the day you want it to work, right? The main difference is probably Law of Justice. You can pick up, if you want, Law of Valor with the Unstoppable Force, but I prefer the safety of Law of Justice. It gives me another cooldown, and you can also drop Indestructible for something like Lord Commander to reduce the cooldown of your horse, because this is new. We picked up the Steed Charge with Endurance instead of our Taunt Provoke. This is one of the things, and of course we're gonna be using the Unleash room with Condemn. So you can, there's some variations to this, but I prefer to be still a little bit safe. I'm still sore after losing my first Crusader. So this is what we're gonna do today. Again, the changes are, we picked up Steed instead of Provoke, and Condemn now has the Unleash room. And this will provide a whole lot more speed, theoretically at least. Let's see if that's the truth. So you simply pop the Steed, and you find enemies. Found enemies, blow them up, pick up the loots, keep on moving. More enemies. There you go. Easy, easy, fast and easy. It doesn't really get better than this now, does it? In terms of speed, that is. Now I still have my macro on, the one that pops my, whatchamacallit, Prophet of Akarat by itself, simply because I can't be arsed to, like, all the time freaking reactivate. I don't know what Blizzard was thinking, in all honesty. That's simply tedious. It's not skill, it's tedious. Okay, pick up that and we're done, and you're just gonna kill the elites, obviously. This is Torment 13, as you can see. Normal ooh, hi, Helm, thank you. I never got that item before. I look for more. Here we go. Blow them up. And again, super speed farming. It's not as safe as the other one, especially not if you guys want to try like pushing how high you can go in a Greater Rift. But for a little bit of level, of level 13, Torment 13 farming, it's absolutely awesome. Is there any more guys here? Come on, there gotta be more. So you see, this is when the lower cooldown on the steed charge would have come definitely in use. But we didn't pick that up, so yeah, again. Still want to stay a little safe, and this is violent and simple. Where are you going? Jesus, plenty fast. Okay, that's done. If you guys want to farm something like Death's Breath, you know, you don't have... I don't know about you, but I always run out of fucking Death's Breath. It's a thing. It's a thing, isn't it? It's a goddamn thing. Now, another thing that I did with this Crusader, because I wanted to complete GR70 solo, which wasn't as hard as I thought. Again, I was worried about the survivability for the most part. Not for the damage. The damage is sky high, no problem at all with this build. You don't even need ancient gear. I don't have ancient weapons, definitely not. I have garbage weapons, and it still does the job just fine. Where the fuck did all the elites go? Oh, something that you can do, like I mentioned before, is once you reach the cooldown cap, okay, the 56%, you can replace some cooldown reduction as long as you still have 56% with some mitigation. Again, damage is not an issue. Survivability is. So I replace some cooldown increase with some resistance to all and some vitality. You know, classic, more life and all whatnot. Ooh, speed. Seriously, there hasn't been one elite pack here. Not one. Oh well. I'm just gonna have to kill him like this. Spam the crap out of it. I don't even have to attack him. Just gonna spin around it. GG easy. And there you go. That's pretty much the speed build. Alright, so that was that. Now, let's talk just a little bit more about the build before we go. Going into skills again, slash with guard, try to keep the 5 stacks up. If you can't, no big deal. Iron skin with steel skin, and again the cooldown is going to be very low. You're not going to be able to have it up all the time, at least not with 56%. I got 57 point something and it's not even close to being up all the time. No, that's not doable. Laws of Justice and Immovable Object. The other option on this is Laws of Valor, the attack speed one of course, and the rune, what was it? Unstoppable Force. Yes, Empowering the Law also reduces the RAF cost of all skills by 50% for 5 seconds. Now if you pick this up, obviously you're going to be able to spam a whole lot more condemns, but in that case particular, which again is for the speed build, that's what we're talking about right now, you want to pick up condemn with, what was the other rune? Unleash. Yes, and this you're going to be able to spam, instantly delete a elite pack with no problem. Just ride up to them with the horse. You got the cooldown reduction on the horse as well. You can even talent for it, definitely, and just spam condemn and insta kill them. Let's see, what else? Provoke with Too Scared to Run. This is basic, not much to say. Again, you're gonna be able to taunt the enemies, you're gonna reduce their attack speed and movement speed, and more importantly, the main reason you pick this up, to get a little bit back of that resource, as you saw there. Acrobat's Champion with Prophet, this needs to be up all the time. It's your damage and your damage mitigation at the same time, so 100% uptime. Holy Cause, obvious, yes. The amount of damage you deal with the weapon is increased by 10%. Whenever you deal holy damage, you heal up to 1% of your total life. Heavenly Strength, simply because it's a must-have. You can't have a two-hander in the main hand if you can't. And finally, because you do socket a lot of gems. And as you can see, I had socketed Resist All, and of course for the head, I had to go for the cooldown reduction. You can also have a socket on the shield, which will buff up Finery even more. I'm not entirely sure if that is optimal or not, but you can do that. So again, for the speed build, you want to switch out Indestructible, and instead of Indestructible, you're gonna put Long Arm of the Law. Increases the duration of active effect of all laws by 5 seconds. So that with the Laws of Justice, not Laws of Justice, got Laws of Valor, of course, will work for you very nicely. You're gonna be able to spam Condemn a whole lot more efficiently with the Unleash rune. And instead of Provoke, like I said before, you want to pick up the Horse with Endurance, so you can just run from pack to pack and just blow them up with Condemn like that. Well, that's gonna do it for this build. If you guys got any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. If I missed anything, I apologize. I'm not exactly old at Crusaders. I just started this one. It's my second one. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you again next time. Bye everybody. Bye bye.